and Julia Lewald, writer on X-Men the Animated Series and consulting producer on the upcoming X-Men 97.
Hi, and I'm Eric Lewald, showrunner on the original X-Men series and also consulting producer on the new upcoming X-Men 97.
My name is Ilian, this is my father Miguel.
And I'm so excited to have you guys back on Toy Quest 101 because we have some great news to share with you guys, and we're also going to be reviewing a great piece from the original X-Men animated series from Mondo that I'm excited about in this collaboration with you guys. But before we start, we want to remind everybody to subscribe to Toy Quest 101. Don't forget to hit that notification bell so you don't miss any toy reviews, statue unboxings, or any celebrity guests that might pop up on our show. Now, I don't know, I kind of have a feeling of where I want to start, but I think I'm gonna throw this one out there, okay? I'm gonna quote Julia on our previous episode when we asked, hey, how cool would it be if we had a continuation of the X-Men animated series? And she said, boy, wouldn't that be nice? Well, Julia, I'm here to say that it's awesome because we just recently got the news that Disney and Marvel finally picked up what we put out in the universe in our last episode, right? Isn't that crazy? You guys were on less than a year ago. We were talking about how the fans, how the people wanted this, how you guys wanted this, how the cast wanted this. We put it out there. It went all over Twitter. It went all over social media, all over YouTube. Not only our show, but multiple shows out there, in the social media. And here we are today, real life, real scenario, and it's a thing. So my first question is, I know you guys are fairly new to social media. I know ever since the news, you guys have been blowing up. Your Twitter account is as big as it's ever been, right? How did it feel to get viral, right? Because that's what happened. You went viral. Eric, I know you were probably sitting back, right? But I know Julia probably was like, what is happening to my phone, right? So what is the reaction and how did you feel when you heard the news obviously come out to the world, because I'm assuming you guys knew it a little bit before, but how did you feel when you got everybody's reaction and the hype behind the news on Disney Plus Day?
That Disney Plus Day was kind of the ground zero for the before times and the after times for us with X-Men 97. We are so grateful that Disney and Marvel reached out to us and to Larry Houston, who was producer-director on the original series, and invited us, the three of us, to come on board as consulting producers. But understand the way it worked, timing works out in Hollywood, Los Angeles. We were brought on prior to the November 12th announcement, but there were a lot of hardworking people working on X-Men 97 before they invited us to join as consulting producers. And that was spectacular. We were able to see a few things and start interacting with people. But when the news dropped on November 12th, that was the giant fire hose turning on. And suddenly, wow, that's been pretty. By the way, if you want to manifest $1 billion for each of us out into the universe, I say do it, because
I know, we should.
The other thing worked. So
why not?
I know. Listen, let me share with you how I got the news, because I immediately emailed you guys, and then I was like, wait a minute, they're not gonna tell me anything. I was like, and they're probably bombarded with stuff. Even though you answered me after, I appreciated it, but I got the news the same time everybody else got the news. But my phone started blowing up, obviously. Hey, did you hear the news? Because obviously I'm a huge X-Men fan. Everybody knows this about me. Huge Wolverine fan. Animated series is what, helped me grow, as a young kid. I absolutely loved it. It was a big thing for me in my life growing up. So when I got the news, I'm like, this can't be real. We just talked about this like less than a year ago. If it is amazing, right? So I'm over here like goosebumps. I'm like thinking a million things in my mind. I'm thinking about you guys. I'm thinking about Larry Houston, Cal, the rest of the, crew, especially Cal Dodd too, because Cal Dodd was on our show after you guys, and same thing, he was like begging for, Disney to pick it up, how he misses Wolverine, how he misses Logan, and it literally just melted my heart. I had goosebumps. And then when I finally heard, I got all the the good sites that were confirming the news. I had friends, over in certain areas that were confirming the news. And then finally, a couple days later, I got a yes, it's real from you. My heart just exploded with joy for you guys because, listen, you guys deserve this. Obviously, everybody wanted this, right? And you guys are also new to cons. So like we talked about in our prior episode with you guys, if you don't know what I'm talking about, it's on Toy Quest 101. We talked about how people would go up to you guys and still want this after so many years. And now look at what's happening, right? I am so excited for you guys. I mean, like I said, prior to jumping on the camera, I had to tell these guys, I'm more nervous today than I was last time we talked. And you're like my childhood. And now I'm just more nervous because I'm so happy for you guys. You have no idea. Then she came home from school and I'm like, Ileana, look, gave her the phone and she's like, oh my God. So I wish we should have recorded our reactions. The fail on my part, but I'm so happy for you guys. I'm so proud of you guys, because you guys kept going with it, you and the rest of the crew. So I really appreciate you guys coming on. I know that was a mouthful, but I'm so happy for you guys. So let's start with some of the questions. We're going to start first with X-Men 97 because I think that's the big news, right? Obviously, for those who are watching, there's certain things we can and can't talk about. And I don't like spoilers, right? I want to be surprised just like everybody else. But I do have a couple questions more towards the back end for you guys. So last time you guys were on the show, we kind of talked about how things worked in the back end, right? Things that us as viewers didn't see. You guys kind of were all over the place in Canada. Things were getting recorded overseas, things like that. It was crazy, right? So how much different is it working on this modern day version of the series compared to back in the day when times were a little different? With technology now and all that, and timing and all that, and cell phones and media, how much different is it? Is it easier now? Is it insane that everybody's kind of working together more people involved? I guess the process is probably a lot faster too, but explain that a little bit to us.
Listen, it was primitive when fire fell from the sky times back when X-Men the animated series was happening. Like I said, I have receipts from going to the CVS pharmacy to fax things to the different offices because this didn't exist. And yeah, it was all hard landlines and faxing and discs, the really old-fashioned discs. Yeah.
And it's just the size of everything is so much different now. I'm thinking about how many of you and your friends are aware of Marvel and aware of the X-Men and aware of all that. Back when we got the job almost exactly 30 years ago, because we started in February on our original show, February 92, there were maybe 20% of the population knew what Marvel Comics was, and 10% knew who the X-Men were. And Marvel was a comic book company, but it was a modest-sized company, a couple hundred people in New York City that was turning out comic books and was being successful at it. And but it was this little, there weren't hit TV shows, there weren't movies.
In 1992.
In 1992. So in the making of that show, basically Marvel was thrilled that somebody in Hollywood would want to make one. We were pretty much on our own. I mean, we got some notes from Marvel, we got notes from our boss at Fox, but today Marvel is this $1 trillion company. Everybody on the planet knows who they are. Everybody knows some of their characters. Everybody's invested in it. So at the time, there were no fans asking us what scripts we were writing or what we were doing with what characters or anything. I mean, if you went to a Comic-Con while we were in the middle of producing the first season of the X-Men, there'd be no conversations about it, whatever. Once it got on and became a hit show, even then, there was a lot of buzz among the comic book world, but that was a much smaller group of people. And again, no social media, so it didn't go like this. So in a way, it was much easier on us, even though it was a tough, challenging job for us to to do the first 13 episodes to see if it could even work as a cartoon, to see if it could be successful, because we really didn't know, and most people were betting against it. That was we could just basically focus on our storytelling, and the rest of the world wasn't paying attention. Today, the folks, the dozens and dozens of folks that are working, hard 60, 70-hour weeks putting together this new show, they realize they've got hundreds of millions of people curious about what stories they're writing and
how it's going to look,
and how the characters are going to interact with each other, and is anybody going to be missing, or you're going to add anybody. They know that they have a legacy to extend, and they know that they're under a microscope. So we do not envy them that. That's something, for all of our struggles, we didn't have to go through anything like that.
For me, the big thing was the original Phoenix Saga?
Yeah.
Where Jean, I love that, and it ends with her flying up into the sun to sacrifice herself. The next episode was supposed to be No Mutant is an Island, which came out.
Where they grieve for her. They have a little ceremony for her at the beginning of the next episode.
Scott is heartbroken. Jean is gone.
But the animation done over in Korea came back, and it wasn't right. And there was a struggle over fixing it, and it was 2 years before we got to see the resolution of that story. And that would never happen today. Back then, there was a problem of very tight budgets, very tight schedules. We had to put on the air what was finished and what worked, and there were bumps like that.
Yeah.
And
so that episode shows up 2 years later, out of nowhere, with no context, just No Mutant is an Island. Suddenly, in season 4 or 5, they're just grieving Jean. It's like if that had happened with the social media today, people would have lost their mind.
Yeah, what on earth? Yeah, or just if they were watching the next episode, where suddenly Jean's back with them, and there's no explanation about she flew into the sun last episode. How come she's back now? All of that stuff would have been turned upside down. Yeah. The nice thing for the current folks that are working on this, that I say we had our challenges with small budgets and tight schedules. Mm-hmm. They have much longer schedules. It's coming out next year. I mean, we're talking about it. They've got a lot longer to work on this and get every single detail the way exactly they want it, and more time to produce it. If it's not just right, they'll reproduce it and they'll reproduce it. They'll get it so it's tight. They won't have blow-ups like that to deal with, because they have deeper pockets and a huge organization behind them to get this really right the first time. So in that, we kind of envy them. Believe me, with Larry Houston on, he was just envying. My God, how many artists, how much time, how much money do you have to get the art, the images just right? And he was just holding his head like, oh, if we had half that would have been such a luxury. So there are the disadvantages of being under the microscope today. I hope for them are balanced by the fact that they're really able to spend the extra time and the extra money to get the production really beautiful and really right the first time, and so they won't have hiccups like some of the ones we have.
Yeah. So follow-up questions with that, because I think thinking about some of the questions that I was going to ask you, I was thinking about the differences between back then and now, right? And I feel like now, obviously, like you said, more people are educated, right? Because when we talked on our last show, I was telling you guys, hey, I grew up with that. And now with Disney Plus, I get to see a new generation who became a fan of something back then. So now not only are there more people watching, there's more people educated on the series and the things that came about, going into it, especially with our interviews and things like that. So I feel like the pressure's on, but I can say that Disney and Marvel are on top of things. I mean, if you see the movies, they're on top of everything. So I'm really hoping, especially, listen, let's start with they did the right thing and brought you guys on. Let's start there, right? Because I feel like if they never did that, I would have been super upset. And it's like, this is going to go totally the wrong way. So the fact that they brought you guys on, right? The fact that they brought the old cast back on, that nostalgia is there, right? For you guys that did so much back then. when times were a little harder to do that. I mean, you guys proved a lot of people wrong, which leads to my next question. I knew back then there was a lot of restrictions, right? And there was a lot of things that you were allowed to do and not allowed to do. We talked about the scene where Wolverine kind of punched Cyclops, one of my favorites, right? We talked about some of the things that we talked about, that you guys were talking about in the world that were happening, but now, current day, is happening more, but people are talking about it more. So I'm kind of curious how it goes, but my question is, without, again, any spoilers, is about restrictions. Are we going to expect lesser restrictions now with the type of world that we live in, which is going to able you guys to be a little bit more free with your creative writing or influence? Does that make sense?
All right, we've reached this portion of the program now, guys. I have a statement I'd like to make, and it is this.
Totally fine.
On November 12th, 2021, Disney Plus announced its production of X-Men 97. We've been brought on board together with X-Men 97, X-Men the Animated Series original producer-director Larry Houston as consulting producers. Beyond that, we have no comment.
Hey, listen.
Well, just as just a matter of simple logic, when we were making our show, for a broadcast network.
That's true.
On Saturday morning for a broadcast for Fox Children's, the Fox Kids Network, and they had a whole group of people, that a whole set of rules that were much more constraining than, say, the rules for their primetime stories. You could turn the primetime show on, and there would be many more adult themes and more things that they could get into than we were allowed to within the constraints of the Fox Children's Network, just under pure, simple logic rules. The new shows can be done under Disney is for Disney Plus, for the streaming service. That's not a kid service. That's a general service, and they will have a different set of rules of what can and can't be shown in the show. So just as a matter of logic, they won't. The folks that are writing the new stories won't have some of the restrictions that we did. They may have different ones. It's 2022. There may be political things that we could say or do in 1992 that in 2022 they might not be able to talk about, just because the culture has evolved over 30 years. Yes. But it's a different time, and it's a different. There's a thing about television is old broadcast television. There were lots of tight rules about it. Like, I Love Lucy couldn't say the word pregnant. When she was pregnant, because that was too scandalous. Mm-hmm. What are the children going to say? They're going to hear this word that means that somebody has a baby. Well, the reason that those rules existed was because broadcast television was just kind of beamed into your house, and there was no real choice involved. It was just all. But streaming services and cable television are things that you purchase and ask to bring into your house. So just to begin with, the rules are looser. But we don't know how that's going to play out, or as I say, we have no comment. Yeah. So after this comment, we have no comment.
Fair enough. I think Eric explained it well, and it's kind of what we were assuming. And like I said, I mean, you guys were ahead of your time back then, right? And I'm just so excited for what the future holds. So I think you said it perfectly. There's enough said, like Stan Lee, right? Enough said. So I'm happy for that. I do have another follow-up question. Do you guys feel like little kids again? Like going into this, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like, it's been so long, you've anticipated this, and now you're going into this new but old world and seeing the differences. I mean, how are your emotions? Like, how are you feeling? How excited are you going into the set or going into start to work this and get introduced to all these new people at Marvel and Disney? What were your feelings going through that?
I don't know, it's maybe more like proud parents than little kids, because you got you got these dozens and dozens of hardworking professional,
crazy talented,
and I'm sure they're fans too,
accomplished people that are all we had a nice Zoom meeting with them, and there were 60 or 70 people on the Zoom meeting that are working. Again, COVID's a problem, so that's that are working on the show, and just about all of them had backgrounds like you guys have. Like we have full of XMen stuff from our show, and it obviously showed that they grew up loving this thing, and now it's put in their hands to develop the continuation of it. And it was wonderful to see this new generation of people, taking the next step, and obviously inviting us on board to be part of it. I mean, they are the heart and soul behind this thing. But it was gratifying that they asked us on, because 9 out of 10 times, really, if something is rebooted or brought back or rethought, the people that did the successful original aren't usually consulted. Yeah. It's like, okay, we've got our new team. I know they did something. They're gone. We're here. The fact that they asked the two of us and Larry on board this thing is just really, it's really special. It made us, it kind of capped the whole thing. Like, okay, it was worth all the effort in the first place, and then the effort over the years to keep the show, going to cons and writing the books and keeping the show alive in people's minds. And okay, it's work. These folks are ready to make their contribution to this, with us enjoying being part of the ride.
That's awesome. That's so awesome, and that makes me feel good, because like I said, they brought you back on, which is the first step. That's always a good thing, and it seems like they have people who really care about X-Men, the animated series, and its originality, right? So like, I have good vibes with this. I mean, I've had it from the beginning. I'm so excited for you guys. But now Ileana's going to throw you another question based on that. And this one's the one that if I was in your position, I would be curious about. But go ahead, yeah.
How nervous are you to see how your fans react after the first episode drops? And what are you hoping for from their reactions?
Maybe we can go to a small island somewhere with no cell phone reception.
Yeah, we need to be out of town when that happens, so our cell phone doesn't melt. It
melted just with the announcement. In a positive way. Once there's material out there and fans can get their hands on it.
Yeah, I mean, they put out just to start with on November 12th. They put out some of their nice design work, and people can see that even though it's slightly modernized and it's beautiful.
Yes.
It's very, very close to the designs that we had. So you can tell their intent is that this is a continuation, not a rethinking. I mean, there have been a couple other X-Men animated shows after ours, but they took it this direction, that direction, and the intention was, let's do something new and different and reimagine the X-Men. This is not that. This is actually a specific intended continuation of the stories that we told, and it's supposed to be it's the same universes, it's the same people. So in that was probably half of the excitement right there. Larry saw the images, and you could tell there were dozens and dozens of artists that had been working for months getting these right like this, and hoping, does Larry think they're good?
I can imagine looking for his approval.
Yeah. And so that has already connected. Okay, it looks appropriate. I think fans are going to turn it on and say, yeah, this is still our show. Then to see how they react to the stories, because I think that's the harder part. I think the artists can get close to the design, fairly straightforward manner, but the people that are working, really sharp people that are working on the stories, they have this double challenge. One is to keep within the mood and the focus and the character of what we were doing, but at the same time bringing something new, a little new and fresh and evolving to the story. So it's not like, they're just doing episodes 77 and 78 and they're not bringing anything personal to it. I mean, they have to. So what the curious thing will be when we see, and you never know until the show's done, will the fans feel like, yes, this is a proper continuation, or, well, they tried and they're a little to the left or a little to the what. You don't know until you watch the episode, until like the piece of music's done. Is this gonna, and it could be something spectacular. It could be like, my God, they've taken it to level 4. You know, we won't know until we see it.
I'm going to jump in that they also have the challenge that, unlike those of us who worked on the original series, there's been 30 more years of the original books and 30 years of fans who, I grew up on X-Men the animated series. These are my characters and these are my stories, and I want it told this way. So they're going to have to thread that needle, and that's a challenge. But they all truly seem up. They
have a tougher job than we did, because we didn't have any expectations.
Yeah,
we had
real low.
Yeah, it's like, oh, you're doing a comic book adaptation. Lots of luck with that, pal. You know, okay, good luck. Maybe it'll last the second season. Good luck.
Oh yeah.
So, I know, and like back then, I mean, Fox was going to be gone until you guys came on, right? And then I feel like you guys got right, and then you guys got like released right away, and then all of a sudden it blew up, and you're like, hey guys, why don't you come on back, right? So listen. I am so pumped up. I mean, I got goosebumps this whole thing. I got goosebumps this whole time because I cannot wait for this episode to drop, because I'm just going to be glued to that TV. And all I'm going to be thinking about is, how nervous of a wreck is Julia and Eric right now? And are they looking at their phone? Are they reacting? Are they looking for people's reaction? Are they going to look at the episode first before we do? Or are they going to see it at the same time? So many questions, right?
Okay, that's a good one. I don't know when we will get to see what is eventually the thing that's released to the general public.
The final version.
We are involved in seeing things, so but that's a generous question, and we may just have to unplug our phones and turn off our electricity, so we don't get overwhelmed with hopefully positive response. I hope there's a lot of love out there.
Because we're hoping for them. I mean, there's no way that we want anything but this to be a spectacular success. It's why it will be what it will be, and you know, you can't control where the magic comes and how it works, but we really think they've got a great start on it. They've made some really good decisions, so we're happy and optimistic right now.
Let's go. That's so great. All right. So last question on the X-Men 97. And this is what the future holds. So go ahead, Iana.
What can we expect for the future from you guys? Now that this is the headlines and pop culture news, will we be seeing move of you guys at Comic-Cons?
So basically, with now this being the news, right? Like, what are we gonna? I mean, you guys obviously you've been blowing up. Now I feel like after this series, there's gonna be a higher demand from you guys to be at the cons, to be headlining the cons now, and you're gonna be all over the place. So what can we expect, if you know already, or what are your plans? I mean, is there anything in motion, or are you just flowing with however things go?
And on top of the upcoming X-Men 97 this year
is the 30th.
Is the 30th anniversary of the show, which is, and he wasn't kidding. It was 30 years ago.
February.
It was this month, last week I think it was, when he had his very first meeting. When you were told, okay, you're doing X-Men, go make it happen. So it's been 30 years since that date, and people are really. We've heard Larry Houston's gone to a couple more cons in the last few months. We
went
really
to one
when
the pandemic kind of went down, when Delta was fading before Omicron hit. We went to one con, the Los Angeles con, which it's a local. We didn't have to fly anywhere. It was easy for us to go to, and it was great. The fans seemed really excited about getting out and getting to a con, because most of them hadn't.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
So
and once you know the conditions are easier, we've got a couple already lined up. We're going to do one in Nebraska in a month, and
we will be at WonderCon in April down in Anaheim for a day.
Yeah, we got a panel set in Anaheim for WonderCon. They just called us about that. It's great. it's good news. So we want to get back into doing a couple cons a month in perpetuity. We enjoy them, and we would have been doing it the last, our
I'm holding this up just because.
We spent over a year working on that art book.
Oh, you got both.
Yeah. So after we did the first book, we were able to go to a bunch of cons, but this one came out 16 months ago.
October 2020.
And since COVID was so nasty then, we've done virtual stuff, but this LA Con was the first time, it was 14 months after the book came out that we were able to actually go in person and talk to people about it and show it to them, and so we'd like to do more of that, and it looks like, knock wood, pandemic's receding and it'll be easier and we'll be able to get back out on the road in effect.
So we hope so. We really hope so.
Listen, it's gonna be great. The future for you guys is gonna be awesome. I feel it, I see it, but I do have another follow-up question. Do you think, because when you guys are back on our YouTube show, obviously it was during the pandemic, you just released the book sold 3 or 4 times more than anticipated, right? Which
it's in its third printing. Yeah,
it's third printing.
It's out in less than a year and a half, so it's doing fine. I think people had a lot of time on their hands to buy and read books. That worked out. We haven't had a chance to meet people and talk to them about it yet, and get their reactions in person. But we've got the wonderful reaction, online to the book itself.
Listen, I could tell you the reason why I'm asking is because obviously we talked about the book. The whole reason, one of the reasons to get you on the show was to talk about the book, right? And I could tell you firsthand that I have sold so many books through your links. And I mean, obviously I don't get any kickback or anything like that, but the amount of people that reached out to me personally, I reached out to you guys, hey, I got such and such that wants this, you guys generously donated one for, our Blue Kraken Special Olympics team, which by the way, you guys are awesome for that. That was the most popular thing at the event. The most popular thing at the event. I mean, we went through 2 bags of raffle tickets for that thing. And then after the people who didn't win reached out to me and said, hey, how can we get one of these? So we had so many people reach out, and I was so happy for you guys. And I went out of my way to get them all the information so to get their copies. We have a Facebook group, and so many people posted, I got my book, I got my book, I got my book. And I really feel like this also, obviously it was a pandemic, right? So it kind of worked out on the flip side, or a good way, because like you said, everybody's like bored home. Now they're reading back into the book, and the book was amazing. I mean, this book, the illustration on it was just phenomenal. Some of the tidbits in it, I mean, everything was amazing. Obviously your older book too was really good. And I really feel like, because not only did it sell way more than you guys thought it would, right? Or anticipated, which I knew that was gonna happen. But I feel like this almost had an influence too on this whole thing going on now, because, people really gravitated to this book, really gravitated to the old series. And now, like I said, here we are today talking about XMen 97. I'm really, really proud of you guys and happy for you guys. I really am.
That is so kind. That is so kind.
Congratulations.
So
yes,
if
yes.
we helped move the needle in any way, we are thrilled. We're thrilled at that. Yeah.
I'm happy for you guys. Anything to help. And I do have to say, you guys need to come to Philadelphia, New York, or Jersey. If that happens, let me know. We are willing to help in any way we can. And obviously, we want to meet our friends. It's been such a great experience with you guys. We absolutely love you guys. And same thing with Cal and a lot of the other guys that we still got to get on the show eventually. But I'm so thrilled and happy for you guys. And I'm hoping to see you guys soon at one of the cons. So let's move a little forward with... Can you guys see me?
We're starting to freeze.
Oh.
Yeah, we're good now. Yeah.
Okay.
We're good.
Did you hear me?
No, you froze for about 5 seconds.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just saying that I hope I see you guys in the near future over here, and that if you guys ever need anything, we'll be more than happy to help in our area of the world. Let us know anything. You want us to host a panel for you guys, anything you guys want. We are dedicated to help you guys, and I'm so proud of you guys. I really am. So thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you both so much.
We'd love to do a couple cons in the Northeast.
Yes.
We had one scheduled before COVID hit, for that May, but we lost it. But we'll try again.
Yeah, that's another thing that people have asked me directly, like, hey, do you know if they're coming over? And I'm like, in the near future, I'm sure they will. I'm sure they will. So it'll happen. It'll happen. All right. So let's move on to the second part of the show, right? And this one's super special for me because the company Mondo came out with this 1/6 scale Wolverine figure from the animated series. Obviously, everybody knows I'm a huge Wolverine fan. And you guys, who better to help us unbox it, which I didn't know if I was going to unbox it, but I am because I got 2 of them. So, yes. We're unboxing one. I'm not unboxing the other one because I'm hoping to see you guys and get it all autographed. But we're unboxing one. We're going to show everybody the contents of the box and everything that comes with it. And I know you guys posted a little bit of it because you got some of it. You got one in your hands too, which is kind of nice. So, before I start, what were your thoughts when you actually saw this come out and when they sent it to you, when you guys got it in your hands? What were your thoughts?
We were able to connect with them literally right before San Diego Comic-Con, all of it online, you know, and 2 of the nicest guys, Mike and Hector there at Mondo, happened to be out here in the Los Angeles area working on the Mondo toy lines. And we safely got to meet them. And as you get to your box, we were thrilled that we had little things we could sort of show them and say, does this help in any way? So the gorgeous, what do you want to call it? The sleeve? Let's see what.
From the inside of our book, yeah.
We had the storyboards for that, and they thought they could take the storyboards again and use them as the sleeve on that thing. So thrilled to be able to help in that way, and it looks gorgeous.
It does look gorgeous. So I'm glad you said that because usually when we do our unboxings, we start with the artwork on the box because I love the box, right? Because that's the first thing that gets everybody's attention, right? So the sleeve has a lot of the art from the animated series, from the book, which is some of the opening scenes here, which I see, which is gorgeous, right? And I love the gold and black. I think that's iconic to the X-Men, but it's pretty neat. Look at the side here so everybody could see. Wow, even though it's kind of mirrored. And this is a San Diego exclusive. I got number 644 out of 3,250, but it does have the gold label on the top.
Right.
God, that's so nice.
So now this was my favorite part because when I kind of slid this open, I did it very slowly. So
here you go.
Deanna, why don't you grab that side of this, right? Right, and go slowly. Oh, there it is. Now look at that big picture window. Just look at that.
The everything, the sheets on the bed with the shadows and the lines, the bed itself, the windows in the back. I mean, it's just the setup is gorgeous. The art.
I know. How on point is this though? Like, it is mirrored exactly from the cartoon series. I mean, it's like when I opened it up, right? Like the box, okay, the sleeve was like, all right, this is pretty impressive, right? The size of it was pretty impressive too, because growing up, I had these figures like this that came out for Toy Biz, if I recall, back when KB Toys was around, geez. And I used to get these figures this size. So the fact that it looked like one of them figures, already I was on board, right? And then when it was the meme that went viral from the series, right? Huge series, a huge part of the series that went viral for the meme. And I mean, it's just on point. And that's why I was a little scared. I'm like, man, do I want to open this or not? But then I was like, you know what? I got 2 of them. I'm just going to keep one in the box and the other one I'm going to open it because it does come with some cool stuff and some cool parts from the animated series that I absolutely love, which we'll talk about in a second. But I mean, guys, check that out. Look at that. The pillow, he's in bed. Obviously, he's got, you know, Cyclops and Jean in the picture frame holding it up. I mean, this sitting in your shelf on display looks amazing as it is without even opening it. So whether you like to open your things or not, either way, you can't go wrong. And this is a testament to a great production of a figure because it just has everything that you want in a figure, right? And then in the back, check this out. Boom, the scene from the series. I mean, look at that, beautiful art, right?
Small happy coincidence today, Eric and I, we happened, again, safely outside, we had lunch with Marty Eisenberg, who was one of the two writers for that episode, Captive Hearts, episode 5, season 1, and he had just received his
Mondo got half a dozen of those out to folks that actually worked on
that particular episode
on the series. So we thank them very much for doing that. And yeah, Marty was just thrilled that something that he worked on 30 years ago has become a meme for tens of millions of people on the web. And there it is. They built this beautiful creation, this toy out of it that people are going to keep forever.
He was kind of teasing. He wasn't sure how he's going to clear a shelf off to show it off because it's just so big.
It's beautiful. It's gorgeous, though. I mean, like I said, in the box already, I'm just like beyond. My expectations are just like, this is great. This is awesome. It's to the point. And I mean, how do you guys feel? I mean, like, I know back in the day, obviously, there's a bunch of figures coming out and stuff, with the comic books and all that. But now, we're talking about it now, and look, another figure from the XMen animated series came out, and look how gorgeous it is, right? Isn't that crazy?
We're seeing this on a number of different toy companies are coming out with XMen animated lines now.
Specifically, XMen animated series lines.
Yeah, like this, and this is, Mondo's not stopping with this one. They're going to be doing. It's going to be,
We don't know?
We don't know the numbers, but there are going to be a lot of characters built to go with that. This is a series of characters from our show that are going to be made that beautiful and that size.
When the toys were coming out concurrent with the series back in the 90s, we had nothing to do with that at all. We never got any free sample, nothing. That was a completely different division, completely different companies putting the
but in this case,
line out.
But in this case, Mondo and Hasbro both called us to participate in these, in their new toy lines.
So the new toy lines that we're seeing from the different companies are just remarkable, and the Mondo, the shading on Wolverine, it's just gorgeous.
So speaking of the shading of Wolverine, we have unboxed our second one. So check Wolverine out. So he's here. Let me see if I can get this.
Look at that. Oh my
God. A little bit. But look at it.
Wow, can you turn around for us?
Yeah, it jumps right out of the series to me. I mean, look at
the arms with the look at that.
Look at the line work, the muscles. I mean, the colors, everything. I mean, I love his cowl, obviously, right? His face, his muscles. Mm-hmm. Look at that. It's on point. The boots are on point.
Yeah.
Just everything about this. Look at that. Look at how cool that is. So he's 11 inches tall. He's a 1/6 scale figure. He does have some points of articulation. So obviously we see him as he stands, and he's exactly like he is in the animated series, which that means they did their homework. That means they cared, right? They got you guys samples, which makes me love Mondo even more. There was a brown costume issued, lower edition size. I couldn't get my hands on. I wish I did, but that came out. I know they announced the Magneto, so I know I'm gonna be broke from this series because I might have to get them all. Just because, again, this is my childhood and I love you guys, but this is amazing. I think they did a really good job, and obviously I'm in statues now, which is a different world, but for me to have this figure in my collection, I absolutely love it. I think they did a good job. So let's talk about a little bit about what comes with the Wolverine. So I'm just gonna put Wolverine to the side real quick. So first off, let's start with the pillow. Obviously, it comes with his pillow. I wasn't expecting this to actually be a real pillow.
It's soft. It's fluffy, soft. Like a real cloth pillow. Yeah.
It is. So I like that. The picture frame. Let's talk about the picture frame. So obviously, you see the picture frame here.
Yeah.
I could focus it. I don't know if I can, but
yeah, it looks pretty sharp. That's Scott and Jean. We can see it.
Yeah.
Scott and Jean. Now, the cool thing I like about this, guys, is that I could interchange this. Now, what I was gonna do that I failed to do was, that little picture of you two lovebirds in your animated series book? I was gonna try to make it small and put it in here and not say a word to you guys and be like, hey, look, and see if you guys notice, but I couldn't get it that small. But I can. It is interchangeable, guys. So like, if you want to make your own meme at home, you can. I can take this out and put whatever picture I want in it.
That's the beauty part. That tickles the heck out of me.
And remember how over the last years that the people have been using it online for a meme, and everybody's put something different in there. We'll have Wolverine lying back and looking at Aaron Rodgers if they're about to lose him from the Packers, or whatever it is, whatever the news is that day.
On November 12th, when Disney Plus announced X-Men 97, they had him there with X-Men 97 in the frame.
That's the one I posted. That's the one I posted. I couldn't resist, but when I broke the news on my channel, that's the one I posted. But isn't that like a neat like thing for them? Isn't that so creative? The fact that they made it interchangeable to me is just pretty cool. I thought that was a cool idea to have, because they're reflecting now on the meme, and now I can make my own meme if I wanted to. I wish it would have worked. I tried so hard, but you couldn't really see it. It would have been so funny. I would have waited to see if you guys noticed, and that would have been you. So pretty cool. Let's talk about some of the, well, first off, it comes with a stand. So this is important, because if you don't want him in the bed, which you don't necessarily have to, it does come with your stand that clicks into the keyhole, which is kind of cool.
Without the stand, am I right? You just showed us you could make him stand.
Oh yeah. You absolutely don't need the stand if you don't want to. But to pose him and just to, make sure he doesn't fall over, it does come with a stand, which is nice. It's a nice added touch, right? And let's talk about the hands real quick, because you have a couple interchangeable hands here. You got the claws, so you guys could see real quick. All right, and I do believe the claws individually come out, which is kind of cool.
Oh, neat.
And I'm gonna tell you why in a second, why I would love to take some of the claws out. And it does come with an open hand, so you guys can see. There's a couple of different.
Yeah.
Trying to focus them here. Comes with more like a punch and a clinched hand. So this hand in particular, I'm interested in, which I'll show you why in a second. So it's kind of closed, like he's holding something.
Right.
There's another one, which is kind of like I like this hand too, because it's kind of saying like, like get over here, right? Which I like, which he does when he's fighting, right? He's like, he wants to fight. So he's gonna give you that option, and he's gonna hope that you take that option. So I really like this hand gesture here. I really love this. But going back to this one, another thing that was kind of famous for Wolverine, and it's during Thanksgiving, the same thing I always use, and it's the turkey leg. So check that out. Check out the turkey leg. I think that's cool. And again, it speaks to the homework that they did, because he's in there. I think it was with the Hellfire Club, if I'm not mistaken.
Hellfire Club.
Yeah.
Right?
Or the inner circle.
Right.
Yeah.
So you could take this claw out, have the one, and he's like cutting his, slicing his turkey like hot butter, whatever he says, right? So I love this. Yes. So where's Cal Dodd? Where's Cal Dodd when I need him, right? But check that out. Isn't that cool? I mean, just again, another way to display him, right? Which was another reason why I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna open him up, because I could display him in the bed, which I absolutely love, and then I could display him doing one of the scenes from the movie, which I'm okay with too. So let's talk about these set of hands, which I think they're hands down my favorite, because this is from the opening scene of the credits, and you could see his hands right here with the energy, the energy hands, right?
That is spectacular.
Right. Yeah, so this is when
opening credit, exactly.
Opening credit. You see him jumping out of the woods onto that rock, right? Look at that, and you see his claws. So this is pretty cool. So we could put that on him if we chose to, and it'll kind of be, obviously we'd have to pose him, but he would be doing his energy claw. I think that's cool. Again, another added touch, paying homage to the animated series, and I think they just did an incredible job. There's so many ways to pose this, depending on what you like. I think they did an amazing job. Another one of my favorite little things that come with this, which I'm kind of glad I opened it, right? So let's talk about some of the head swaps, right? It has four different heads, 5 different heads and 4 head swaps. So obviously you saw his head here. It's kind of like just a normal, serious look, right? Which is kind of cool, all right? And we're gonna go ahead and see the unmasked Wolverine, which is right here. So check out the line work, check out the art.
Yeah.
You can see that. It's pretty cool. Look at the hair. There you go. Oh, look at that. Now it's on focus. Look at that. Really good job there. So I really like that. For a figure, right? Looks really good. Super, super good. So I really like that. So if you want to have him without his cowl on, you can. Then this one I really like. So this is actually, let's see if I can focus this. It's his angry face. Look at that.
Yes.
Yes.
Full spell and full anger.
Yes, so that'll go great with those energy claws, right? If you wanted to pose them that way. I mean, look at that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful work. All right. Then you got more of like a smirk type. So
nice.
Yeah.
So another one there. Kind of see. All right. And then this is my favorite, absolute favorite. My good old pal Morph. Check that out.
Oh man!
It comes with Morph, so you can swap his head.
Yeah.
So not only do you have Wolverine, but you have Morph. You have Morph. Look at that.
Because we haven't opened our box yet, you know, and to see that is just.
Wait,
gorgeous.
so did you know it came with all this stuff or no?
We're not.
No?
We're not. So.
No, it's okay though. That's even better because now you guys are seeing all the cool stuff that it comes with. Let me try to focus in a little bit.
Yeah, no, that's
Kind of hard. There it is.
Oh man!
Yeah.
Very nice.
So isn't that cool? It comes with all this stuff. He could be Morph. He could be sitting on his bed like that scene where Jubilee runs by and he's clicking the news and changing into people. I thought that was a pretty cool scene. But it's really cool that they added Morph to this. I mean, again, they really did a good job trying to capture the favorite moments of the fans in the X-Men animated series of Wolverine. And I mean, this guy looks amazing. I am really thrilled about this piece. I mean, there's really nothing bad I could say about it, honestly. It just looks amazing. I think Mondo did a great job. I'm happy they did their homework. I'm happy they reached out to you guys. It just shows the level of appreciation that they have for what you guys did to pave the way for them to make a figure like this, right? Because this was really popular. It was really popular. And even though it was all virtual, this guy sold out. The brown suit sold out. I know because I tried getting it. But, they did an amazing job. So I can't wait to see what Mondo has for the future when cons are a thing now in real life again, hopefully. And there's people at the cons waiting in line, taking them to you guys to autograph, because that's what's going to happen. I'm going to be one of them, that closed box, right? So this is going to be exciting. You're going to see a lot of things, coming your guys' way, and you're going to see these amazing figures, right? There you go. Nice and focused. Look at that.
Mike and Hector were nice enough to ask us. Eric and I got to write a short essay that is printed on the inside of the brown Wolverine box. We haven't seen it. We've seen pictures. We haven't seen it yet, but it's just, again, so gracious of them to reach out and let us be part of that process, because they're gorgeous.
I know,
gorgeous.
This is amazing. Like I said, I was trying to get a hold of the brown suit one, but I think it was very limited. I think it was limited to like 300 pieces, 300 or 400 pieces, where this one was a little bit over 1,000. And it's crazy because they came out like maybe a couple weeks of, from each other. And I remember ordering 2 of these. I remember I was like on 3 phones. I was like, I gotta get one. And I was able to get 2, thankfully. And I mean, I think they did a great job. The cost of this was $199 each, so they're a little on the expensive side. But I can say, listen, art, you can't put a price on art, right? And I believe all this is art. And I think they did a really good job, doing their homework, like I said. And I think they nailed it. I absolutely, right? What do you think? You like it? What are your favorite things about it?
I mean, the artwork of it and the details and everything.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So really cool thing here. We're gonna have all the links to Mondo's website in our bio of a video. Obviously, we're gonna have all the links to where you can find our friends Eric and Julia Lewald, and we are hoping for big and great things from you guys, from XMen 97, and what the future holds. I cannot wait, and I'm so happy you guys came on to our show. Is there any closing statements that you guys want to share with us, or any news that might, come about? I know you guys talked about maybe possibly, doing the Anaheim show, but anything you guys want to add?
WonderCon Saturday, April 2nd, down in Anaheim. We'll be there for a panel and hopefully
on Saturday.
On Saturday. It's a 3-day con. We'll be there for the Saturday. And it looks like at the end of March, of all places, we're going to be at Grand Island Comic-Con in Nebraska, which tickles me. I didn't know they had islands in Nebraska. That's kind of my bad joke, but we'll be there for that. And we don't know how the rest of the year is going to roll out. We don't know about the bigger cons, but please let your local con people know if you'd like us to come around. We'd love to go places.
Yeah. I'll definitely reach out. We're going to the it used to be called Wizard World, now they're called Fan Expo here in Philadelphia. It's actually the following week of when WonderCon is in Anaheim. So if I'm not mistaken, but I do have a contact there. Obviously, New York Comic Con's a little further from us, but that's the really, really big one. That's the huge one there. Different companies, obviously, but there's a couple Comic Cons coming this way. Definitely New York is one that would be very advantageous to you guys, because that's a huge one. That's basically the San Diego Comic Con of our side of the world. But yeah, anything we could do to help, get that word out there, get you guys everywhere. We'll love to help. I'll reach out for you guys, obviously. And nothing, man. I really, like I said before, I can't stress this enough. I'm so proud of you guys. I'm so happy for you guys. Thank you again for taking time out. I know you're more busy than ever, and you guys still were able to come on. So thank you. And Ileana, why don't you tell everybody where they can find us?
You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and TikTok.
And don't forget to subscribe to Toy Quest 101, and don't forget to follow our friends Eric and Julia Lewald. We'll see you guys on another episode of Toy Quest 101. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Thanks, Miguel.
Thank you so much, both of you.
You're welcome.